happy to be with you this evening. And I have been tasked with the workshop or the seminar on nutrition and mental health. And I think that that is extremely important, nutrition and mental health. And so we will be unlocking well-being, the interplay of mental health and nutrition, nourishing the mind for a healthier life. Okay, so before I begin, I have some questions for you. So I would like to get your response. How's that? So there was a study done this year, and the American Psychiatric Association and the American Nutrition Association published this in March of 2023. And it was a group of 2,200 people, okay? And the first question that they asked was, of the adults surveyed, how many said that they feel knowledgeable about the relationship between diet and mental health? How many people do you think, or give a percentage of that 2,200 people, adults, how many said, yes, I'm knowledgeable on diet and mental health? How many people do you think? Say it louder. 50%. Who else? 10%? 30 to 40%. Okay, well, let's look and see. Of that, 66 people, 66%, I should say, of the people said, sure, we're knowledgeable. We understand the connection between diet and mental health. Okay, next question. How many adults, the survey asked, would be willing to change their diet in a way that positively impacts mental health? They understand. So how many people will be willing to change? How many people do you think, percentage-wise? 20%? 30, 60? Any more guesses?
40.
40%? Okay. 81% of the people said that they will be willing to change their diet if it would mean that they would have positive mental health. That's a good number, isn't it?
Yes.
Out of the 2,200. So next question. How many would be very willing to change their diet to improve mental health? What do you think? Okay, she went down from it was 81, now she said 65. What do you think?
90%?
90%?
No.
85.
I know you have something in your head. 85%? 60? Okay, let's find out. 40%. Okay, brother here says 40%. Oh, wow. Do you see that? Do you see the difference here? So we have knowledge. People believe that they have a knowledge of diet and mental health. Some people said, yes, we would be willing. But when it really got down to it, guess how many people?
Not all.
I have knowledge, I have an understanding,
Yeah.
but I'm not there yet. I'm really not willing. I don't want to change, right? So knowledge is not enough when it comes to our behavioral choices and when it comes to mental health. So, like I said, I have been tasked to talk about nutrition, and mental health, but I do want to share with you, as we learned last night, that there are 8 natural laws to health. And each one of these components actually aids in our mental health or can detract from our mental health. Each one of these components here, but I will target on nutrition. And of course, we can never talk about our minds and our bodies without mentioning our Creator, okay? Because our Creator made us, right? We were made perfect and in His image. So we had a perfect brain, we had a perfect body, we had a perfect mind, and He also gave us a perfect diet, right? And so this is in Genesis 1:29. You all know, but I will share anyway because this is foundational for me as we talk about nutrition and mental health. And God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. So, in the very, very, very beginning, and we know through science that our bodies were meant for plant foods. Okay, and this is what God gave us, and so this is what is the best diet for us. So I just want to lay that foundation as we go. So the objective for tonight is why nutrition? What is nutrition and why? We will talk about key nutritional behaviors that will promote positive mental health. And then we will talk about key nutritional behaviors that will hijack your mental health. Okay? The World Health Organization states depression is the leading cause of ill health and disability around the world. And managing this public health crisis is a challenge. But current evidence states and supports that a diet is a key role in psychological health. Diet is a key role. So we can say that diet can actually help our mental health or it can hurt our mental health. And so today we're going to talk about, when we talked about nutrition, what is it? Okay, so normally when it comes to nutrition, you need to have hours and hours of study, taking a course for a semester or 2 semesters. I am going to give you a crash course. Okay, instead of saying nutrition 101, it's nutrition 0.01 today. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about when we come to nutrition. What happens when you eat? What happens to the food when you eat? So first we're going to go through this little diagram so that you can kind of get a feel of food. So food is not just it tastes good and it makes my stomach fill up, but food has a purpose, right? And so here we're going to look at, well, let's go here. We'll go here first. I'm going to show you 2 different slides, but they kind of come together. So first, when we have food comprises, when it's all broken down, of chemicals. Okay? Chemicals, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. You have all those things. And when you start building onto those molecules, these molecules create cells. Cells create your tissue. Tissues create organs. Organs create organ systems. How many systems do we have in our bodies? Do we know?
11.
We did biology. How many?
11.
11? How many? We've got, okay, which system is this one?
Digestive
The
system.
digestive system. We have the digestive system, right? We have the skeletal system. What else? Respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, the endocrine system. So when we talk about organ systems create an organism. So does that make sense how it goes? We've got lower, building on, until now we have this human body. So when we talk about nutrition, when it's all broken down, it's there to create and build so that we can have a healthy body. So when it comes to food, we'll talk about the digestive system. First, when we eat a piece of food, it starts right here. We chew it in our digestive system, starts right in our mouths with our salivary glands, starts to break down our food. It comes through the esophagus. From the esophagus, it goes into the stomach. And at the point of the stomach, we have 2 other organs. We have our gallbladder, and we also have our pancreas hidden in the back. They will secrete different substances to help break down this food more. After that, it goes into your small intestine. This is where the real work begins. the small intestine. Because at this point in the small intestine, and by the way, the small intestine is about 6 meters long. Okay, you can wonder, how can I have 6 meters inside this belly of mine? But it's about 6 meters long. It does a very perfect job of breaking down the food, and also absorption takes place in the small intestine. After absorption of all of these chemicals that have been broken down, it goes into the large intestine. Anything that has not been absorbed gets collected as waste, and then it is expelled through our feces, right? And so this is the whole thing. Now, I want to just hone in on this as we're talking about mental health, because it's extremely important when we talk about the small intestine. So, like I said, when we eat food, it has three major components, which are our macronutrients. We have our carbohydrates, our fats, and our proteins. They get broken down into glucose. Our lipids are into fatty acids and glycerol, and our proteins, small components of amino acids. Okay, I want you to remember that. That will come back. So from large, it gets broken down into small molecules and chemicals. But this is amazing. You know, the way God created us, it's so amazing. I want you to put your fingers up like this. Everyone put their fingers up? Yeah, when we put our fingers up, we're looking at the villi that's inside of our small intestine. So you can see this here is our small intestine where absorption takes place. And here it's showing, like this little spot is showing light on here. This is where we begin to consider how our brain and our mind is connected to our digestive system, and our digestive system is connected to our mind. So when we come here, when food is broken down, we will have, like I said, our amino acids and our fatty acids and our glucose. It's, as you can see here, we have blood vessels, right? We have veins. And right here, we have our lymphatic system. If you look closely here, what do these look like? Remember, they're on a very small, what are these? What do they look like? Come on, biology people. No, these are cells. Yeah, they're individual cells. Remember I said that cells, when they come together, they create tissue, and tissue create organs. These are the cells that come together to create a tissue. And then the tissue come together to create an organ. So inside of here, each one of these little things is it's a cell, and you can see it better here. What is happening here? These individual cells, some of these cells that are in our small intestine, can you imagine that they have endocrine cells in our intestine? Endocrine cells. What do you think, for those who were here last night, what did Sister Shayla say that is secreted in a large amount in our digestive system that pertains to our mind? Serotonin. Absolutely. So these endocrine cells, you see these little things here? They're all individual cells that look like this. And you have endocrine cells in your small intestine, and they secrete serotonin. So if we're not healthy here in our gut, can we produce good serotonin? No, we can't. We have to be healthy. Our small intestine has to be healthy in order to produce. So the other cells are here too, like we have our gastric cells, endocrine cells, different kind of cells. But I was amazed to find out that endocrine cells are here. And so when the food gets broken down, it goes into the bloodstream here and throughout the rest of the body. Okay? And this is another picture just to help you. Sorry, this is Nutrition 101. I'm breaking down, but to help you to understand, now these are our cells, and you can see our carbohydrates are broken down into smaller, our proteins are into amino acids, and our fats are into fatty acids, and our glycerides, they go through here into the cell where the cell takes up this wonderful nutrition. We have our bile salts, which would be your potassium, your sodium, and there we go. It goes into the bloodstream and goes and circulates throughout the rest of the body. So having that foundation, now we're going to build on the connection. So I want you to look at, I have three different articles. One is 2018, one is 2023, and one is in 1909. And I want us to look at them and see, are they saying the same thing when it comes to our brain and our digestive system? The first one is from the Institute of World Health. It says the gut-brain axis is a bi-directional communication network that links the enteric, which is our digestive system, and our central nervous system, connects them together. It says this network is not only anatomical, but it extends to include the endocrine, which we found out, right? Humoral, metabolic, and the immune routes. So we have this route of our immune system, our endocrine system. They go from the gut to the brain, from the brain to the gut. Okay? And it says here, it says that the autonomic nervous system, our hypothalamic pituitary axis, our nerves, our gastrointestinal tract, all link the gut and the brain, allowing the brain to influence our intestines and also the gut to influence mood, cognition, and mental health. That our guts can influence our mind. Isn't that amazing? That is something that Institute of World Health says. Now we're going to move to the American Psychiatric Association. What is it saying about the relationship? So the first one was more scientific. This one is going to be more layman's terms. It says the relationship between nutrition and mental health is bi-directional. The food we eat affects our mental health. And our mental health status affects what and how well we eat. Yes? There is an interconnectedness of nutrition and mental health. Okay, so that was this year. But I want to take us to an old book that we all should know about. What's this book? Testimonies. Tell me if it's similar to what these other things are saying. Something that was said way over 100 years ago. The brain and nerves are in sympathy with the stomach. Erroneous eating and drinking result in erroneous thinking and acting. It's powerful.
Yeah.
That is powerful. This was given to us way back a long time ago. Now science is just now discovering what we were given is true. Wow. There is a connection. So then we go back. Now we can understand that nutrients play an important role in how we think and how we act. So we need to make sure that we're putting in our bodies things that can help to produce good cells, good tissues, good organ systems, so that we can have a good body. Another thing I would like to, there's some other two studies I wanted to share. And this was a review on current developments in nutrition in 2022. This is really something. There was a study that was done on major depressive disorders. And it was with young people between the age of 18 and 25. after being on a Mediterranean diet, guess what happened? Their depression improved by 20.6 points on the depression scale. Or those who were not on the Mediterranean diet, it only improved by 6.6. Here, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition says increased fruits and vegetable consumption positively affects psychological health. And daily vegetable consumption has a therapeutic impact by reducing symptoms of depression in people with clinical depression. So, now we are going to talk about key nutritional habits to promote sound mental health. Who wants sound mental health? Do we all want sound mental health, right? We just came through COVID. We came through depression, anxiety, and all of these different things. And some of us are still facing it, right? Yes, you will see the staggering numbers of people with depression and anxiety across the world. But there's good news. There's good news. And if we take hold of some of these pointers, you will find yourself that your mental health is improved. So, what are some of the things? We're going to talk about each one of these things. I will define what it is so that you can know how to plan and how to choose. So these are some of the things that will improve your mental health by taking in omega-3 fatty acids. We're going to talk about that, so don't worry. Vitamins, there's specific vitamins. Antioxidants, specific. Water, of course, and amino acids. So first, and you guys are welcome to take pictures of this if you want, omega-3 fatty acids. Here are some sources. Some sources like chia seeds. Do we know about chia seeds? Yeah, chia seeds are very good. Flaxseed. How about flaxseed? Yes, walnuts. Very good. Raw walnuts are excellent for improving our mental health. The role of omega-3, it's for our cognitive function and our cognitive performance, for our brain structure and mood regulation. So you know what I like to do every morning, basically? I create a smoothie. And in that smoothie, I'll take a spoonful of chia seeds, spoonful of flax seeds, along with my frozen strawberries, frozen bananas. I'll get some plant-based milk. You can choose whatever, soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk, and a little juice. And I'll blend that thing up. You will never even know that you had chia seeds in there or flax seeds. You cannot taste them. But guess what? You're getting improvement. I'm getting omega-3 every day, okay? And I don't even taste it, all right? This is what you can do to increase your mental health. How about vitamins? There's specific vitamins. So we have vitamin B6, 9, and 12, okay? These are extremely powerful to improve mental health. Why? These help to produce our neurotransmitters. And we know we talked about, Sister Shayla talked about neurotransmitters yesterday. Brother Bong talked about neurotransmitters today. These vitamins can help to produce, because they synthesize these neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters, think about something that transmits something. It's here, and it takes it to there, right? And so these neurotransmitters are meant to help to move signals that are in our brain, all right, to produce mood regulation. It helps for our central nervous system. It helps to bring and to create happiness in our minds by the foods that we eat. That's something, right? We eat the food. It goes through that process that we talked about, produces serotonin. Serotonin goes through neurotransmitters, takes it back up to the brain, and guess what happens? We're happy.
Amen.
Yeah, we're happy,
Yeah.
right? What are some of the sources? This picture just shows a few, but basically whole grains, right? So whole plant foods, leafy greens, bananas, papayas, oranges. We all love those things, right? Wonderful fruits, chickpeas, fortified cereals. This is where you can get, okay? So these are not in foods that are stripped of their vitamins. So when I say stripped, what do you think I'm saying? What would be stripped?
Processed.
What would be a process? That's right. So when it's processed, a lot of these wonderful vitamins are removed. So you want to make sure that you're getting whole grains, okay, in order for improvement in mental health. Now, this picture is a little different, but I will explain to you. Antioxidants are extremely important for your mental health. Has anyone ever heard of free radicals? Anybody raise your hand, a free radical? Yeah? Free radicals, I call them rascals. Okay? I'm going to take you to this picture first, and then we'll come back. So, look at a normal cell. Beautiful, well-rounded. It has a nice nucleus in it, has a nice cell membrane around it. But through oxidative stress only means that during the metabolic process, you have extra oxygen. And when you have extra oxygen, thus are these little round thingies here, they start to attack the cell. And you start to have stress on the cell, and guess what happens to this cell? It starts to die, right? This is what happens every day in our bodies. We are always having some kind of oxidative stress. It's a normal thing, but God has given us antioxidants to balance this problem. So we have oxidative stress going on every day in our cells. The free radicals are there, trying to destroy the cell. But when we take in these yummy foods like nuts, fruit, berries, vitamin C, zinc, all of these wonderful things, it balances it. And we come out better when we have the antioxidants. It says it protects against oxidative stress. And we can take a look at here. It's the same thing. You see this tomato? It goes through oxidation and it starts to decompose and break down. Has anyone ever taken an apple, cut the apple, and then in an hour it's brown? Yes, it's going through oxidation. I mean, that's not a problem for the fruit, okay? It's just browning. But when it's inside the body, it starts to destroy our cells, right? So, the way we can combat that is by eating lots of yummy what? Yes. Nuts, seeds, vegetables, berries. And then we have a nice balance from those rascals, okay? So, now, there are other things that help for our mental health in nutrition. We have some minerals like magnesium. That's good for brain function and mood regulation. So nuts and seeds. You guys hear the same thing over and over I'm saying? Nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruit, whole grains. These are the things that God has given us. Science has now discovered, wow, there's so many powerful things in normal, natural plant foods, right? That are not necessarily in processed foods. And so we have this. And choline is neither a mineral or neither a vitamin, so I'll just call it a compound. This has just been recently discovered in the last couple of years, its role and its impact in brain development and our nervous system. So we want to get those beans. You guys, we want to get beans and beans and beans. Every day you can eat beans. They're delicious and they are very healthy, low fat, high fiber, and high in protein. Very good for your body and very good for brain health. But we can't we can't overlook something that's so simple.